Welcome to all of the magic and all of the wonder of the Disneyland Resort, where there's so much to do for every member of the family. Come, let us show you how easy it is to make memories that will last a lifetime, and why the Disneyland Resort really is the happiest place on earth.
Growing up, Disney World has always been known as the happiest place in the world. It was mentioned in the shows I grew up watching. Athletes mentioned it after they won championships in their respective sports.
I'm going to Disney World!
We're going to Disney World! We're going to Disney World! Yeah! I'm going to Disney World!
Even growing up in Florida, the lore of Disney is palpable. But recently, another side of Orlando was shown in the movie The Florida Project. The concept of The Florida Project came to fruition from Chris Burgaw when he was visiting family and friends in Orlando, Florida. There he witnessed families living out of motels and hotels. Now, this isn't something that is new, especially in the Orlando area, but it is something that has become more common since the recession in 2007. In the Huffington Post article, Homeless Children Living on the Highway to Disney World, it chronicles multiple stories of families who have and still are living in hotels and motels. According to the article, the Department of Education has identified 47,000 hotel kids are in schools around the country, and says that the number of homeless kids in public schools has increased by 38% since 2007. And the article goes on to say that in Central Florida, it isn't uncommon to hear 19 to 20 hotel kids in a class of 22 in local schools.
I do not know. What kids are here?
The kids are right over there.
Yeah. They should be in school, kids.
Now, that article came out in 2012, and in 2017, economically as a whole, things have gotten better, but there are still tons of people living out of motels and hotel rooms. Since the Florida Project, multiple articles have been written highlighting different families and their experiences in the Central Florida region. In Richard Lacombe's article, In the Shadow of Disney, Living Life in the Margins, he gets interviews with patrons who live at the Magic Castle Hotel, which is the main hotel that is featured in the Florida Project. One of the patrons says that a lot of what happens in the movie happens in real life. There are people who live at the hotel with their kids, there are drug addicts, and prostitution.
Soliciting customers for sexual activities with your phone number attached.
Ever since the release of the Florida Project, the Orlando Sentinel has jumped on writing multiple articles about the movie. In their article, Florida Project Film Portrays Life in Kissimmee Hotels, they talk about DCF making regular visits to these sites, that some management won't allow kids just running around the hotel or motel unattended. But how can there be such a big problem with what's come to be known as the hidden homeless and the tourism capital known as the home of Disney World?
We have this phenomenal tourism industry that's amazing, and it's wonderful. But the folks who work in this industry, some of them are unable to make the living wage that they need because our housing in this community is so high. This is an AP archive video from 2015, and really nothing has changed. In another article produced by Orlando Sentinel, Commentary, the Florida Project shines a spotlight on the Orlando's motel class. It points out that the average job in the Kissimmee Osceola area pays lower than most major metro areas, and that the last quarterly census shows population in Orlando is 23rd, but only 138th in wage. Later on in the article, it proclaims that the Orlando area is the leading job creation hub in the state of Florida. But even with the major tourism and job creation, the average pay is $26,000 annually, while the average rent is $16,000. This is a problem that is plaguing and has been around for a while, but what can we do to help the situation? I think the first thing we can do is talk about it and realize it is a problem. The first step of resolving a problem is stating that there is a problem. And thankfully to Sean Baker and his production team on the Florida Project, it brings this topic in the forefront. But we also need to put money towards higher wage jobs than lower wage ones. In the same article, it goes on to declare for an investment on education and the attraction of startups. But also there needs to be a change at the system level, that hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars are spent on low wage jobs through tax breaks for theme parks and convention center expansion programs. That with the perpetuating of lower wage jobs, not much can change. The Florida Project is a touching and well done movie on all levels. It is well written, well acted, well produced, where the cinematography is just immaculate. But with movies that highlight such problems, we can't just stop our conversation at the movie and what we thought of it.
We need to do more to make not only Disney World, but the surrounding area officially the happiest place in the world. Or at least one you can afford to live in.